Our radar right now is Wipro. Remember, the company had announced a share buyback of 32.3 crore shares at 325 rupees. Today being the last day to participate in the buyback, Nigel, as always, gives us the buyback math. Nigel.
You know, Manglam, if you're looking at the stock from the low point of the day, it's seen a bit of a recovery, and today it could get supported. You know, the details that are already out is we know the buyback price, 325 rupees. We know the total amount they're looking to spend. That's at around 10,500 crores. And we know the mode as well. That's the tender route, which is, you know, the more preferable route when people are going out there and trying to make some money in terms of these buybacks. So all those three details should flash for you on the screen. The promoter holding is roughly around, 74%, 73.85% stake to be very, very precise. So we have the promoter holding as well. We know companies where the promoter holding is higher, that gives the buyback math a little more fillip, and the acceptance ratio is something that everyone looks at. Now, the reason that we are tracking the stock today is because the buyback record date is June 21st, 2019. What would that mean is tomorrow it would trade the X buyback, X buyback date would be tomorrow. So today is the last date that you can go ahead, buy the stock, and in fact then participate in that buyback. Let's pull up the shareholding pattern then. I told you the promoter holds roughly around 74% stake. This is as of March 2019. And you pull in the institutions, JP Morgan Chase Bank, Bodies Corporate, that comes to roughly around 94% odd. Now, the big place for the retail shareholders, those that will hold value of shares that will be sub 2 lakh shares on the record date. That is on June 21st. So if you hold sub 2 lakh worth of shares, going by the current price of 296 rupees, it comes to very, very roughly 675, 678 shares. So make sure that you're under that 2 lakh quota so you can qualify and you can get a higher acceptance out there. Remember, the SEBI mandate is already there. So 15% of the total buyback amount of around 10,500 crores, that amounts to around 1,575 crores is reserved for these small shareholders. Now, if you're assuming the overall acceptance, it's around 5.5%. But there's an opportunity for small shareholders out there to go ahead and participate. A couple of buybacks ago, the total number of shares, whatever small shareholders tendered in, they did, get accepted. This time around, it'll be quite interesting as well. And just to put out a definition, how do you qualify as a small shareholder? That should come up for you on the screen. If you're holding sub 2 lakh worth of shares on the record date, so to be safe, if you have around 670 shares or thereabouts, you should qualify for this buyback. Currently, stock, the buyback price is a 10% premium to the current market price. So assuming that all get bought back, then you'll have that wait period of a few months and include the transaction cost as well. There could be some money to be made for small shareholders out there. That explains why the stock has come off the low point of the day.
All right, fair point. Thanks a lot for the clarity on Wipro as well as the amount one needs to put in with regards to be qualified as a small shareholder. The stock off lows of the day. But one stock which is still at the low point of the day is IRB Infra, under pressure after reports suggest that the NHAI has planned to seek new investors for the Mumbai-Pune Expressway. Anisha joins in with details. Anisha, 12% lower on IRB Infra.
Well, yes, IRB Infrastructure is trading lower on account of reports that have resurfaced today talking about how NHAI is looking for a fresh investor when it comes to the Mumbai-Pune Expressway. Now, do remember, this is not entirely fresh news. This is something that the company has been telling us as well as the investors over the last 1 year, that the Mumbai-Pune Expressway will be up for rebidding in August 2019. However, having said that, this is very important for the company because remember, in terms of the BOT portfolio, this is their biggest asset, contributing around 40% to the BOT revenues, and in terms of the overall revenue, this contributed around 13% as far as FY19 is concerned. However, why the street is a bit concerned about the reports today is the fact that the valuation that NHAI is looking is much higher. So, for example, in 2004, IRB had backed this particular project for a value of just around 950 crores for a period of around 15 years, and now it is going to be much lower, perhaps for a duration of 3 to 5 years, and the valuation would be much higher. And that is why the street is a bit nervous and the stock is trading lower. Back to you.
Okay, thanks so much for that, Anisha. Well, that stock is getting a dropping now. It's down 12% after being down close to around 5% in yesterday's trade. Well, let's shift focus to a big CNBC TV 18 exclusive then. Sources tell us that the GST Council is set to discuss a fresh proposal for e-ticketing for cinema tickets, as well as reducing GST rate on electric vehicles and related supplies. Timsy joins us on the phone line to fill us in with all those details. Timsy, fill us in with all these details you're picking up.
Well, as you rightly mentioned, the council is going to take a fresh look at a new proposal that Center is talking about, which is for e-ticketing for cinema tickets. They feel that this proposal will help curb tax leakages. Also, Council is likely to discuss the proposal of reducing GST rates on electric vehicles and related supplies from current 12% to 5%. Remember, this is a long pending demand of the industry, and the government's push towards electric vehicles will actually get a boost if this proposal goes through. On the other hand, we also learned that Centre will inform GST Council regarding the direction of Delhi High Court, which was given recently on the valuation mechanism prescribed for solar power generating systems. Remember, the Delhi High Court in May had directed GST Council to review the tax structure for solar power projects. So that is again going to be a very crucial one, whether Council takes a fresh look on this particular head or not, given the directions of Delhi High Court. Also, the Council will take a review of the GST Council recommendations which were given on the rollout of GST on 1st July 2017 regarding having reduced rates for GST on sale and leasing of motor vehicles. So that is also going to be a crucial one, because over here we get the supplies of this. This is actually a big consumer connect here. Cab on rent, etc. is what is being targeted here. Also, Council will give a fresh look to the GOM recommendations on lottery. Till now, what we understand from sources is the fact that the GOM on lottery has unable to reach a consensus. The proposal was to come over the differential rate of 18 and 28%. So let's see what happens on the 21st of June when the Council meets under the new chairmanship of Nirmala Sitharaman.
All right, Timsi, thanks a lot for that. Definitely keep an eye out on what transpires there. But before we wrap up on Chartbusters, just pull up the mid-cap index intraday chart. It's moved into the red, that even as the Nifty is holding higher. And like we were speaking about the advanced decline ratio, Nigel, they've come perilously close to each other. In fact, that line should come up for you, the red and green lines. Are they going to
just one thing, Mangalam, Manisha just sent an alert that Iraqi officials, earlier today we saw the markets come off the high point of the day. You saw a bit of a jump up in terms of crude oil prices as well. Iraqi officials are saying that the Iraq's southern oil operations, including export, they're not being affected by the rocket incident. In today, we saw a bit of a bounce on crude oil prices. So this will soothe some nerves as well, because there was a fear out there that the oil operations globally could get into a bit of a tizzy. And that's why I think an hour or so ago, we did see a bit of a jump up on Brent crude prices. And we saw some of those OMCs as well come in for some selling pressure. So maybe that could reverse now, that Brent crude prices could cool off. Not that they jumped up so much, but the intraday chart could tell you the picture. Well, on that note, that's it from Mangalam and me. We'll wrap up on Chartbusters. You stay tuned. Trading Hour comes up.